Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di and today I'm bringing you another Yarnie update. This is Yarnie update number 27. So this Yarnie update will encompass everything that I have stitched on in the month of September and one that I just recently cast on. So let's get into what I've worked on since I chatted with you last. As you notice, I am a little bit decked out for the season. This is about as dressed up as I get during the month of October and for Halloween. So my mom knit me a little witch's hat, you can see. Well, she crocheted it. She didn't knit it. She crocheted it. She doesn't know how to knit. But she crocheted me this little hat, and then I've done my makeup a little bit darker and more colorful and things like that. And I'm wearing my It's Just a Bunch of Hocus Pocus shirt. So I've been really getting into wearing like graphic tees lately, especially because I'm not going into the office as much anymore, so I don't have to wear work clothes every day. I can just wear t-shirts and shorts since I am still working at home. But yeah, so it is the beginning of October. I'm starting to kind of get into the mood of the season, if you will, and so I dressed up a little bit for this Yarnie update, especially because probably by the next Yarnie update it won't be October anymore. So I'm glad to be able to get this in and dress up a little bit and just have some fun. So yeah, I've got some works in progress to share with you. I've got one finished object and I've got a lot of yarn enhancements. It was my birthday month in September, so I'm just going to say that that is the reason why I have a lot of yarn enhancements, but I don't really ever need an excuse to buy yarn, but there is quite a bit. So let's just get into it. First up, I have in my Jack Skellington towel bag from Disneyland. It's just a towel that we bought at Disneyland that my mom turned into a project bag for me. I have my Arachne. So I showed this to you last time. This is the Arachne by Andy Satterland. I'm calling mine my Winter Web because of the colors that I used. So when I talked to you last, I was at this marker right here. So you see, I have put in quite a bit since I talked to you last. I still have quite a bit to go, considering I need to have 19 inches from the armhole, but I am very happy with my progress on this. I had finished my color work section on the test knit that I've been working on, which is the Voyager sweater that is scheduled to come out in 2022. That is a pattern that will be released by Megan over at Bad Wolf Grove Studios, and it is a Moana inspired colorwork sweater. I had a load of fun doing all of the colorwork sections on that. But like I said in my previous Yarnie update, I am doing a separate project vlog for that, which will be released closer to the time when the pattern is actually going to be released. I think it should be coming out around February or March 2022. So definitely keep an eye out on that. The Moana sweater is super fun. If you want to see what it looks like though, you can check out Megan's podcast. I'm not sure which number it is, but I'll try to link it down in the description box below in case you're interested. But she shows hers off in that podcast. But yeah, this is where I'm at with this. I'm hoping this will be done by the end of October. So far so good, but like I said, I've got a lot of stockinette left to do, and I am working this English style as opposed to continental just because I wasn't able to get gauge on continental style. So I am working it English style, which is something I don't do often anymore, and so it's taking me a little bit longer. That plus because the gauge is much tighter, that means that I'm just having less fabric come out of the work that I'm doing because the stitches are smaller. But I am still very happy with how this looks. It feels really, really nice. I am doing this in the Knit Picks Galileo yarn, which is a 50% merino, 50% viscose from bamboo wool. And the main color that I am using is Lunar. So it is the dark blue color. And then for the color work, I did it in the pearl color. So you can see kind of that it is rather fluffed up. But I really enjoy that because it kind of gives it a little bit of texture. And like I said, I am really loving how that sweater is turning out. It did fall on the floor, so let me pick it up real fast. And wouldn't you know it, I just found the stitch marker I've been looking for all over the place. It is here. I don't even know what it is doing right there, but I've been looking for this because it is a witch's cauldron. I got that as part of the spooky... I can't even remember what the collection was called, but it was 2020's sock yarn club from Night Owl Fibers. So it was a 3-month club. We got 3 skeins of yarn and we got a couple of these stitch markers. So I have one that's a pumpkin that's on a different project, and actually it's the Yeti Goes to Jurassic Park V-back tee, which I showed I think the last time. And so now I have this one, and I can use this to replace this plastic marker right here. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that before I put this away, and then I will be back with you for my next currently stitching project. Okay, so the next project that I have started lives in this Baymax cosmetic bag. We had recently gone to our local Barnes & Noble for the In Real Life manga club that I host there once a month. And we got there a little bit early at our last meeting because I was on vacation during my birthday week. And so we had gone because my daughter had wanted to look around Hot Topic. That's a store that she really enjoys going to. And right by the checkout, I had seen this cosmetic bag, and I thought, that is big enough for a sock project. And so I decided to go ahead and pick it up. It is super cute. But in here is living a project that I am working on for my dad's wife as a Christmas present. And so if you had watched my Yarnie updates around last November, December, you know that I made my dad a pair of socks for the first time for Christmas in 2020. And he seems to really enjoy that, so I will be doing that for him again this year. But I do not know what size shoe his wife wears. And so I am making her a pair of house socks. So this is what I have so far. It is a merino sock yarn that is being held double with a mohair. And so let me put this down. I am doing this in Serdar Snuggly, so that's the pink. This is 75% extra fine merino wool, 20% silk, 5% cashmere. And this is the color Little Piglet. I'm doing it in pink because pink is one of her favorite colors. And then I'm holding it double with this mohair from Knit Picks, which is left over from my Comfort Fade Cardi that I did a couple months ago. This is Knit Picks Aloft in the color, I can't remember what color it is, but I will link it down in the description box below. If you didn't know, I do keep show notes down in the description box below. All of the links to the projects redirect to my blog, where I duplicate the information from Ravelry onto individual blog posts. So definitely check out my blog for all of the information. You'll find what yarn I'm using and all of the information on the projects. And if I am able to find a link to the patterns that I use outside of Ravelry, that is what's listed there instead of to my Ravelry. However, if the pattern is not available anywhere else but Ravelry, that is where that link to the pattern is within that blog post. So I let you know all of that if it's redirecting to Ravelry or somewhere else, just in case you know. So definitely check out my blog posts down in the description box below. But yes, I can't remember what color this is, but it is left over from my Comfort Fade Cardi. I do have a lot of this left, and so I have enough, even though it doesn't look like a lot, to do her socks. Plus I have some to make my mom and my daughter some of these as well. But this is the Cozy Reading Socks, I believe that's what it's called, by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. This is part of her Knitting University series of patterns. So they're available to patrons only, and I am a Bakery Bear patron, and so this was one of the patterns that they came out with for that, and I am just really enjoying it. These are size 4 needles. I'm doing these in a different type of needle, so you can see that they're like plastic and that they are fixed. This is what it looks like outside of the project, and so it is a hard plastic. It does flex a little bit, but it comes in a set of 3 like this. And these are the Necco Strickspiel. I'm not even going to say that because it's in German, I believe, and I am going to butcher that royally. But it's the Necco Strickspiel, and it comes in sets of 3 needles like this, and you're supposed to use it like this. I don't hold it like this. I hold it more like a flexible double pointed needle, but it's working really well for me, and so that's where I've got so far. So I've got about 2 repeats of the pattern so far. Got 1 more repeat to go before the heel, and so I will be making these for my dad's wife for Christmas. I do call her my dad's wife. They've been married for over a decade now, but when they got married I was already an adult, and so I do have a good relationship with her, but I just call her by her name. And so if I'm talking to people who I, like here, where I'm trying to keep some privacy, I call her my dad's wife. Or if I'm talking to people that I don't know very well, I call her my dad's wife, just because it's easier instead of just saying her name, because then they'll be like, who's that? You know what I mean? But yes, I do call her my dad's wife outside of people that I know in person. And so yes, I'm very happy with this. It's working along really, really fast. It feels really nice, and so I think she'll enjoy these. My plan for this is that I'm going to make them to fit me. Since they're going to be house socks, I figure if I just go with one that will fit me, because I wear a normal 64 stitch size sock, which is the average sock size, I would guess. That being said, my mom takes a large, I take a medium, my daughter takes a small, but I think she'll take a normal regular one, so I figured if it fits me, it'll fit her. And then as for the foot length, again, since these are house socks, if they're too big, it should be fine. I don't think her feet are bigger than mine. We're about the same height, and she's about the size of my daughter, but I think her legs are a little bit more muscular, and so I think the medium size will work well. And if they're too big, they're too big. I mean, they're house socks, and she could always give them away if she doesn't want them, but it's the thought that counts, right? It's the thought that counts. And so I'm very happy with these, and I'm looking forward to getting these off to her sometime in November. And so I do need to work on these a bit, and I also need to get a start on my dad's socks, which I haven't done yet. But yes, have started some Christmas presents, and I am very happy with how those are looking. And so yeah, let me get these put away, and I'll be back with you in a bit. Okay, one last work in progress to share with you. This one I actually just cast on a couple days ago, but then I worked on it and had to rip it all out and start over last night. So technically I didn't start this till last night, but this is another pair of socks. It's living in this High Q cosmetics bag. This is what is now my daughter's sock bag, so any of my daughter's sock projects will always be in this bag. High Q is a volleyball anime that our family really enjoys, and it's also a manga by Haruichi Furudate, which we have collected the entire thing, and my daughter has read through, but I have yet to. I'm still in volume like 30 something or so. And yeah, so this, like I said, is a pair of socks. It's a pair of Halloween socks I am doing for my daughter. I am working this out of Dracula in Lolo Did It's original base. So this is part of her Monsters of the World collection, and I picked this up last year when she re-released that collection. And it's got a lot of grays, lots of tonal grays with some specks of red. And I am working the Vanilla Souffle sock pattern by Christy Houghton of Yarn Cafe Creations. I had originally cast on the 52 stitch size for my daughter because I thought, oh, we're gonna try to go down a little bit because Christy Houghton's designs does go down to a 52. And that is why I had to rip the whole thing out, because it ended up being just a little too tight with this stitch pattern. So like I said, it's the Vanilla Souffle. So I don't have very much right now. It was after 1 o'clock in the morning when I decided that it wasn't going to work. I did have my daughter try it on. We are both night owls, so we were both up, and it was too tight. The ribbing wasn't too tight, but the stitch pattern was. So in Christy Houghton's pattern, she only calls for this pattern to be in the front of the sock, the whole way down the sock, and my daughter wanted the design all the way around the leg. And so I am now working a 56 stitch sock, and so far it seems a lot stretchier now. I am trying to be a little bit looser in my gauge because of the way that this stitch pattern is created. I believe it is a free pattern, but like I said, again, details for all of that is linked in the show notes in the description box below. But before I had ripped everything out, I had about 4 repeats. So this is a 4-row pattern repeat. I had about 4 repeats, so 16 rows, and it looked really great in this yarn. So I'll definitely have a lot more to show you next time, but I am going to be doing contrasting heels and toes for this so that I have enough of this yarn to make myself a pair of spooky socks. And so I have decided that for the heels and toes we're going to be using the Filcolana Arouetta Classic in the color 139, which is this red color. It's slightly different from what you see in the cake, but I think it will still work well. The one in the cake is much more of a blue red. This is much more of a orangey red. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. I think it'll still work well. I haven't actually checked with my daughter to see if this would be okay, because normally she's just like, yeah, anything's okay, you know. But I do have Hollyberry in Knit Pick Stroll, which is more of a blue red, so I may go ahead and pull that out and see how that looks instead. But in any case, it will have red heels and toes. And so yes, I believe there is a Spooky Socks make-along going on right now, starting October 1st, from the Crazy Sock Lady, Nitty Natty, and one other person. I'll link the details down in the show notes below in case you're interested in that. But I'm going to try to enter these in that. I also have a pair of wound up balls of another sock yarn that I've had wound up since last year that I really want to make myself a pair of Halloween socks in, but we shall see. I am still a bit socked out from all of the socks that I've been doing all throughout 2021. But yeah, got 2 more pairs of socks on the needles somehow. But one is a Christmas present, and this is for my daughter because she does have a pair of Halloween socks. She does have a pair of Halloween socks. It's her Do Re Egon socks. Because it's Ghostbusters, so it's the colorway. And so this will be her second pair of Halloween socks. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a little more of this in. I'd actually stitched on this last night while I was watching the Gremlins. I had not watched the Gremlins in a long time. And my daughter has never seen the Gremlins. So we're watching it together, and that's how I got all of that done. The ribbing and the 16 rows, and then it ended up being too tight. But yeah, so we've started our Halloween movie watching. I'm really looking forward to all the Halloween crafting, all of the Halloween TV and movie watching, and makeup and all of that. So yeah, so that'll do it for my currently stitching section. Next up, let's move into no stitches required, which is my finished item section. So my only finished item are my Licorice Socks for my daughter. So these are Licorice Socks, which is a pattern by me. I have not yet released this pattern. I'm still hoping to get some test knitters on it, so if you're interested, definitely let me know down in the comments below. I would be hosting that test knit on Discord, so you have to be able to not only knit socks, generally know how to knit socks, have knit socks in the past, but other than that, this is a pretty easy pattern, I would say. But let me get you up a little closer. So it does have this textured design. I do have a garter heel on this one and my lightning toe. So all of that is in the pattern currently. I'm still putting some finishing touches on the wording that I'm using on that, but I'm still hoping to get that released by the end of 2021. But this one is a 56 stitch sock. Like I said, it is worked in Regia Merino Yak in the color teal. And it's the first time I've used this yarn. I do really like how these feel, and I liked how it worked up. The color of this yarn is very multi-tonal, and I don't think that's coming across very well on screen, but in real life this yarn is not only teal. There's like blues and like beiges and like a rusty color in there, and it's just gorgeous. I love how these came out, and my daughter is very, very happy with them as well. And so yes, this is my only finished object. Now let's move right along into stash enhancement because there is a lot. Okay, so I actually bought quite a bit of sock yarn. I do order quite a bit from this Etsy shop called Hand Dyed Sock Yarn. A lot of the yarn that they have is commercial sock yarn, so when I'm looking for Opal or Regia yarns, that is where I go. And they had some of their holiday sock lines up a couple weeks ago, and so I decided to go ahead and collect some more for my Christmas yarn stash that has not really dwindled even though I intended to have a lot more of that sock yarn used this year than I have. But I have picked up quite a few skeins of not only their Christmas sock yarn but a different line. So let's just get into it. I have here Opal, I can't even say, pullover and sock and wool. I think it's just the Opal sock yarn. I don't know what collection this is from, but it is in the color Paula. And so it looks like this. I thought this one looked very autumnal and could be used for either Halloween or like just fall socks, because it does remind me a lot of pumpkins. And so that is what it looks like. Like I said, I don't know what collection it is, and it's in German, and I don't want to butcher that. But yes, that is one of the skeins that I got. And then I have this one, which I thought reminded me a lot of gingerbread cookies and like candy canes. Though this is part of the Hunter Wasser collection. I think that's how it's pronounced. And this is the color 1436. I think that's the right one. Farb. I think Farb is the color. And Party is the lot. I think that's how it is. But so this one follows this painting. And so yeah, I thought it reminded me a lot of gingerbread cookies and candy canes. And even though this is based on that painting, to me when I look at it, it does remind me a bit of Christmas. And so I picked that one up. Then I have this Regia design line from Arne and Carlos. This is very, very much Christmas, and I'm holding the ball band together with a clip because it dislodged itself and I couldn't find a piece of tape. I did try to use a sticker, but it's not sticking very well to that ball band. But that is what it should look like when it is knit up. But it's very much Christmas colors, so you've got the reds and greens and whites, and there's a little bit of gray. And so I think that's going to be really great. Next up, I've got another ball of Opal. This is Opal Joy. And again, this one reminded me of candy canes and gingerbread cookies. So this one is in the color 9986. And it should look like that when it's knit up. I haven't actually used any of the Opal yarn that I have in my stash yet. I have used a lot of the Lolo Did It yarns because of the Lolo Did It Cal that I participated in over the last 3 months. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I should really work on some of those commercial colorways. I have one last skein from Hand Dyed Sock Yarn, and that is Ferner Mally Socks. and this is their one of their 2021 Christmas colorways. This is in the colorway 12, 20, 21. Actually, it says 20.12.21, but I think it's December 20th, 2021. You will know that I had a skein of Christmas Eve 2020, which I used for my very first pair of Licorice Socks, and I really like this yarn. It is a much thicker weight sock yarn. I think it's classified as a DK, but I worked it up for a fingering like stitch count, and it worked really great. The fabric I got out of that was super lovely. It's just so squishy. But I saw this one and I'm like, I have to have it. It's very speckly. It's almost a tinge of pink in that white. But I still think it's more like beige or cream than pink, and I'm looking forward to getting this one used. This one is a much bigger skein as well. It's 150 grams, 450 meters. So I think I'm able to get all three of us a pair of socks out of this, though I haven't actually done a pair for my daughter or my mother in the remaining of what I had in this last year's Christmas Eve colorway. But like I said, I really like this yarn, and so when I saw that they had some for this year, I decided to go ahead and pick up another skein for myself. So then I put in an order with Leading Man Fiber Arts. I had a credit to use because they have this rewards program, so you earn points every time you order from them, and so I had a coupon for, I think it was $15 off my purchase. And so I decided to go ahead and get their September colorway, because they do a colorway of the month, and their colorway for September was Dancing Queen. And so here it is. It is already caked up because I used their free caking service. So they started offering a free caking service, and I'm like, yeah, sure, cake that up for me and send it. Their service is so great. I really enjoy purchasing from their shop, and I love their colorways, and I had to have this one because it's got a lot of teal in it and pinks, and that was so me when I was growing up. Then when I got a little older, I dropped the pink and just kept with the teal and the turquoise. And so yes, very happy with this one. And then the second skein that I got is actually going to be for a sweater I have planned. So I picked up a skein of their DK yarn, which is the Dramaturg base, I think that's what they call it, and this is the colorway Sea Turtle. And I just thought that would work so perfect because the sweater that I want to do is another sweater by Megan over at Bad Wolf Girl Studios. It is her Dino Roar sweater, and that is a dinosaur sweater, and I wanted this color for the dinosaurs. I wanted some kind of variation in the yarn that I used for the dinosaurs, and I just thought this color was so great. So again, Sea Turtle by Leading Man Fiber Arts, and I just I really like that, and I think this is going to work really well for my dinosaurs. So speaking of the Lolo Did It Cal, that was the Hippo for Holidays summer cal, where I had to do 4 Lolo Did It Hippo for the Holidays or Yeti Goes to Colorways projects. I didn't say that very well. I had to do 4 projects using either a Hippo for the Holidays colorway or a Yeti colorway, and the entire project had to be all Lolo Did It yarn, And so I ended up doing 4 pairs of socks for that cow, and I ended up winning. So I won a $35 gift card to her shop. Plus, I had a 10% off coupon for my birthday, and so I put in an order. So I got a few skeins from her of her fall line. So let me rearrange here. So first up, I have this one. It's October Skies in her plush sock base. And it reminds me of a My Little Pony. It's just, the colors that are used in this are very much like me. It's blowing out a lot on camera. I wonder if I pull it back here. See, it's getting a little better. I think that is just gorgeous, though I don't quite get where the October Skies comes from. It just very much reminds me of a My Little Pony, so I had to pick up this one. And then I got this one, which is, again, Lolo Did It plush sock in Smells Like Fall. And I got this one to go with a couple other skeins that I have from my Kindred Spirits sock club from Little Skein and the Big Wool, and those are all Anne of Green Gables inspired colorways. And I am very happy to report that this goes very well with the other colorways that I have. So I am going to be using those skeins in a project. I don't think it's going to be anytime in the next couple months, but another project on the horizon. So this is Smells Like Fall. I picked up a skein of her sparkle sock in Witchcraft and Wizardry. This is a Harry Potter inspired colorway, and while I don't agree with the things that J.K. Rowling is saying, I do support Lolo Did It and other small businesses who find inspiration in creating things based on that fandom. And yeah, this one, it has a lot of the house color representation in it, but other than that, it's just pretty much a white sparkle sock with primary color speckles. I don't even think there's any black in there, so nobody would even know that is a Harry Potter colorway besides you and me. But yeah, I decided to use my winnings on this skein. And the last one I ordered was Make It Rain. So this ended up being a lot grayer than I thought it was going to be based on the picture on her website, but that is okay. It's got a lot of tonal grays in there with teals and purples. And this again is on her plush sock base. Like I've said before, if plush sock is available, I'll usually get plush sock. If not, I do enjoy her original base as well, as you can see based on the Dracula socks that I am working for my daughter. So that's the last of the yarn to share with you. I do have one more thing that I ordered in the month of September. I ordered myself another bag from Utterly Adorable Knits, and I had to have this one when I saw it because it was Snoopy. It's Snoopy in Woodstock. This is another bag in her extra large size, and I absolutely adored it. When I had found out that she had launched these in her shop, it was very, very late at night. It was probably the next morning, like after midnight. But I quickly ran over to her shop after seeing it on Instagram, and there was one bag left. And so I was like, it is mine. Put it in my sock, put it in my cart, and checked out so fast. And I was lucky enough to get it because apparently it was in somebody else's cart as well. But I picked this one up for myself for my birthday, and I couldn't be happier. You know how much I love Utterly Adorable Knits project bags, and so I'm super happy to have yet another one for my collection. But that does it for my stash enhancement. That was a lot, but that's okay, because it brought me a lot of happiness in the month of September. I still need to work on more Christmas socks, but I'm just really trying to enjoy the projects that I'm working on right now. I have been very, very busy with lots of readathons that I've been participating in, and so in October I do still have lofty reading plans. I am participating in the Trick or Treat-a-thon, which is an entire month-long readathon, and there's a bingo board for that, so got a lot of reads going on for that. I am co-hosting a 24-hour manga readathon mid-month, so there'll be a lot of reading for that, and then I do plan on participating into the Fall into Manga Love readathon at the end of the month. So yes, lots and lots of readathons and reading for the month of October. I'll have my monthly manga club meeting again in store at my local Barnes & Noble, and other than that, I don't have any plans for the month of October. I'm just reading away, working away. I did take vacation during my birthday week in September, so that was nice. I got a love letter from HR saying you haven't used enough vacation this year. But even though I do have a couple weeks coming up in November, I don't think I'll be able to take any more during the rest of the year, because I'm not allowed to take vacation in December, which means I'd have to take everything else in October. And seeing that I have 4 weeks left to take where they're comfortable with what I'll have left over, I'm not going to be able to do that. So yeah. I definitely have Thanksgiving off because I always take 2 weeks at Thanksgiving. That's just something that I've always done. Just because in December we're not allowed to take vacation, and that is because December is our heaviest month as far as our workload. I don't work retail, but in my industry, it's just very, very busy. And so, yeah, other than that, I don't have any plans to take vacation until the Olympics roll around again in February. I think it's February. I took vacation for the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, and I really, really enjoyed doing that, especially because I was able to watch so much more. I didn't realize how much of the Olympics coverage I missed out on by only watching primetime coverage at night when I got home from work. And so I was able to watch pretty much all day, and so I got to see a lot of sports that I didn't normally see, and it was so much fun. So I'm looking forward to getting that in February. But other than that, Thanksgiving is going to be my next vacation. So unless something happens, I'm still talking it over with my coworker, because she also has just about as much time that she needs to take off as me. So yeah, we work for a small company. Well, our section of our company is small, but we are part of a much larger company. But yeah, there's only 4 of us, so we don't take vacation often because there's too much work to do. But that's that. I mean, yeah, I've worked for this company for almost 20 years. Not quite. It'll be 19 years next March. And my coworkers worked for over 20 years. So we've been working together for a long time, her and me. And while we enjoy what we do, it can get stressful at times. I think I told you before, this year has been the most stressful I have ever felt working my job, and I don't know what that is. But things have seemed to calm down for now. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm not feeling as stressed as I did earlier in the summertime. It is still very hot, which is still making me unhappy and uncomfortable. But the forecast says that next week it'll be cooler, so I am looking forward to that. I hate the summertime. Usually in the fall, it's still very hot through November. So yeah, while I'm seeing lower temperatures in my horizons, I'm not holding my breath that the hotter temperatures won't come back. But that's just the norm of where I live. And yeah, other than that, like I said, we've been enjoying some Halloween movie watching. All of our fall TV shows are back, so we've been watching those. I've started to watch So Weird on the Disney Channel, which is a TV show I watched a very, very long time ago. I don't think I ever watched it through the entirety of it because it was on the Disney Channel and I kept missing episodes. So I'm really enjoying rewatching that, and everything that I've watched so far in there has already been stuff that I've remembered seeing, so that's been great. And my daughter has never watched it, and so it's been real great experiencing things with her that she's never watched before, like the Gremlins. And yeah, so we've got a lot of TV watching coming up. I have a lot of stitching on the horizon, lots of reading, and other than that, we are doing great. My daughter has gone back to the college campus, which does make me a little bit nervous, but she's only there twice a week, and so far things are okay. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that things remain that way, but other than that, we are all safe, we are all healthy, and like I said, there's nothing more that I could ask for. So that will do it for me today. I hope you have all been well. I hope you are all enjoying what you've been working on lately. Let me know down in the comments below what you have been working on, what your most favorite thing to work on was in the month of September, or what your most favorite acquisition was in the month of September. I would really love to know. And if nothing else, if you would just like to let me know you were here, if you could leave me a jack-o'-lantern emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And I will talk to you later, so I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye!